All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Nick's Knowledge and Notions NQ Science Series, brought to you by the Seven Spheres of Money. Thank you for joining us. And before we get started, like the video, share it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And this show is sponsored by Tolero Organic Tequila. Smooth, crisp.
Looks like somebody's been consuming all the Tolero.
Smooth, crisp, organic, luxurious, and most importantly, Black owned. So go get your Tolero tequila and get a 10% discount on us when you go to tolerotequila.com and enter promo code MONEY. tolerotequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your bottle of Tolero tequila. All right, so we got.
I was feeling left out, so I just thought I brought my bottle out.
Oh,
What you?
Wait,
Anita, what you doing? She's sitting parked, ladies and gentlemen, so she's not driving nor drinking.
That's a challenge. That's a challenge.
Yes, we got we got the whole core team together tonight. You know, so welcome Anita to your first Nick's Knowledge and Notions episode.
I am honored actually to be, invited. You have to be somebody to get into this location. I will say that for sure. I have to say that you have to be invited to this show, and you have to get on this platform. You have to be invited. I'm very proud and honored to be here. I am.
Yeah.
Privilege and an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, what's up the DJ, man? What's going on?
Hey man, it's all good. Any day above ground is a great day. TGIF.
Yeah.
Pom lifestyle, man. Got a lot of things happening over here. So we're just ready to get the show started and talk about greatness. And let's get it rock and rolling, baby.
Yeah. That's right. So the topic for tonight, we're talking about cultivating the genius of our youth and celebrating it and making it the norm. So a week ago, I'm sure most of you heard a week ago, the young lady Zaila Avant-garde became the first African-American to win the Scripps National Spelling Bee. And the second Black girl to do it, the first African-American, but the second Black girl to do it in its 96-year history. So this is going to be a celebration of her, and it's also going to discuss the importance of investing in our youth, and we're going to talk about all the investments that she and her family made to help her to win this competition, and how this should be the norm rather than the exception. So Zaila's 14 years old, from Louisiana, and one of the first things when I was doing some research on her, one of the first things that stood out to me, and we're talking about making investments in our youth, is she invested a lot into her spelling skills and her spelling training. So of course she put in a lot of time and a lot of work, but her family also put in a lot of money, and a lot of money goes into preparing for these and training for these spelling competitions.
So what's a lot of money?
Oh, I'm getting ready to tell you. I'm just laying the groundwork for it, but we're gonna get into the actual price tags though. So
I want to make sure the investment was less than the reward, because I didn't know they put a lot of money in. So that's news to me. So
yeah. So there's so let's start with the annual subscription to Spell Pundit, which is a spelling program that helps people prepare for this competition. So that's I read that's a $600 for an annual subscription to Spell Pundit.
Okay.
Yeah. Also these spelling bee competitors, they also have trainers. And
coaches.
oftentimes coaches, and oftentimes they're trained by previous spelling bee competitors. And I read that these
runner-up
coaches
by the same person.
Yep. And I read that these coaches get paid up to $200 an hour to train these competitors.
So how many hours did she train for $200 an hour?
So she's.
Well, go ahead, tell the story so we can break it down economically. Because
right. So
now I think we're starting to diminish it. But go ahead. Right.
So she she trained about 7 hours a day, 13,000 words per day. That's her goal. And then also that goes into the time aspect because she's homeschooled, so she was able to set her own schedule and to where she can block out 7 hours a day to dedicate just to studying words and spelling. So if you talk, so this is just speaking in general, about what these competitors, so she spent 7 hours per day, but in general, these competitors, they'll spend $600, for the spell punting program. They'll pay, coaches and trainers up to $200 per hour, and on average, they'll maybe spend around $2,000 in resources and training to prepare for spelling bees. And some of them prepare for competitions such as the Scripps, and some of them train for college scholarships and getting admitted into colleges. So that's the information that I have as far as the price tags and how much time she dedicated to strictly training for the spelling bee.
All right, so let me jump in and play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
First thing is to tap into her genius, which every black kid has. She only been training for a couple of years, unlike these other kids who started training at 5-6 years of age to win this opportunity. And she also held 3 Guinness Book World Records in other things, particularly in basketball and academics as well. And she's always destined to go to Harvard. She can go wherever she wants to. She's just that bright. And she made it a poignant point to say, you know what? I've only been doing this for 2-3 years. Most of these kids been studying for this their whole life. Literally, these kids will study, like I said, from 5 on up to 13 years of age. So they've only put in 6-7 years, 5, 6, 7 days a week studying. So when we don't know about that, we automatically take the perception that these kids are just geniuses that win this National Scripps contest. But really, it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? So the glory goes to her genius. But if we pull back the onion and realize that these kids that have been winning and dominated are spending, because just on the basic math, I just took $10 an hour. So if they did $10 an hour, 7 days a week for 3 years, that's $54,000. Okay, and the grand prize is only $50,000, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember sitting on an airplane with a soccer coach and the chick who won the soccer when World Cup soccer was at its height for women's soccer before this past 8 years. But I'm trying to remember the young lady when the world soccer team won the soccer championship and the chick pulled her shirt off out on the stage. I was on first class plane with her brother, who was the soccer coach for DePaul University. And he tried to explain to me the value of paying all this money to get soccer lessons to get a scholarship. And again, I'm a math person. So I said, so you're gonna spend $60,000, $70,000 so you can get a chance of getting a $30,000 scholarship. The math does not add up. Okay? But going back to her, she's only been doing this for 2-3 years, so she really has amazing genius, and she's not doing this all the time. Because even with the scholarships, if you take that $50,000 out and the money they spend, they still at a negative. But the geniuses to her family is that she showed that if we put our mind to it, we can do it and dominate it. But the reality is, spelling contests are boring as hell. That's the reality. So you don't find a lot of black kids doing it, and the the glory in it is very minimal because even at $50,000, she's not guaranteed to get into any college because she won a spelling contest. If you can spell your ass off, but you can't do math, you can't do an engineering, what does spelling do for you? I could be wrong. This is a show about celebrating, but when I start hearing about all the work, you know what the first thing comes to my mind is the affluence. So her parents can afford to spend that kind of money, and this is just like paying for, sport teams and stuff, which Anita and I can attest to. I have my children in select baseball, basketball, and that shit costs a lot of money. I mean, you're talking about now basketball and baseball, volleyball and soccer, you can spend 12 grand a year. At the high school level, you can spend 20 grand a year. So these parents that are affluent are spending the money, and then their kids are getting lucky to get scholarships. They're actually just breaking even at best. When you really break down the actual math behind it, and if her parents didn't have some access to resources, would she be able to spend the time and the money to actually compete to win this national Scripps contest? Now, the great thing will happen, what they should have done when she won, they should have highlighted that movie that came out, Aquila and the Bee, with Larry Fitzgerald and the young lady who Queen Latifah was the EP on the show, which that came out, I think, probably about 12 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you think that show would have prompted more blacks to participate in the contest because they brought it out to do that because these Indians were winning it. But again, they're doing this stuff from the time they're 3, 4, 5 years of age. They're spending 40 hours a week studying the dictionary, and we're getting, amazed, and we're just, in awe of their greatness of winning, spelling contests. But that's not to detract from what she accomplished. What I want to emphasize is that how smart she is, just innately in what God gave her. That she already broke records. She already could have done anything. So really, she was just, showing off how intellectually smart, but the discipline to do it is amazing of itself. And I remember when I was in high school, I went to a private high school, and I went to the top language high school in the state and in the Midwest. And that's not a brag, that's just a fact. So, we took Latin, we took French, had Portuguese, German, all those languages. So I was the #1 student in Latin and French. And I remember, because I didn't study a lot, I remember telling 2 of my friends that, you know what, the difference between you and me is you're sitting up here, you're studying for 100 hours, and I'll pick up this book and I'll read it for about, an hour or 2, and I basically know more than you'll ever know. That was stupid, but it also showed how much of a gift that God gave me, because I didn't continue to put the work ethic in, but those guys, they worked and they developed a habit that actually lasted them much further than I did with the Latin in of itself, because once it was no longer, sexy or, interesting to me, I just let it go. So the real emphasis we should put on is the work ethic and the discipline, and we should downplay, but we should also magnify the fact that if you don't have resources and money and time, private coaches, $200 an hour? Are you kidding me? $200 an hour to have one shot out of hundreds of thousands of people to win a $50,000 scholarship? The math just don't add up.
Well, let's talk about the part where you brought up the Aquila and the Bee movie, because I love it. That's my movie. I will say to you that I like spelling, and spelling bees are my thing in school, and we didn't get that far. Some schools don't know how to get you that far. So the big issue, #1, is not only is the kid available for the talent, are there locations available for, putting them in those places? Are you able to get in those arenas, in those be a part of that audience, to be able to do what you do? I think that's the piece where we have to figure out, can we get there? And I think that's for the African American audience is where we need to work harder toward. Can we get there? Secondarily, Akila's situation in the movie was a call to action. Lawrence Fishburne's character played that role for free. He did his coaching for her for free because he had lost a daughter, and she was a surrogate. He was feeling avoiding his life for that process, and so she loved words, and her father passed away, so they were each other's surrogate in that moment, and so she got exposed. She went just to kind of get extra credit, and she tried to win the favor of her teacher because she was failing because she didn't want to seem smart to her peers, and that kind of thing. We are okay with kids flying under the education radar because it's not okay to be smart, and we don't want to get picked on by the kids and all that kind of thing. So we as educators get into this rut of how do we get our kids out there. So when we talk about celebrating this young lady, it meant that somebody held her hand and moved her along. So when we talk about, did she have to pay for that? And who paid for that, and what the cost of it was to pay for that. I didn't research what Nick researched, but I hope that while he may have gotten paid, I hope that there was some corporate sponsors or some neighborhood activists and community support. They did a GoFundMe or something that gave her the money to get to that point where you're deciding. But see, part of Akila's the script in that movie addressed was that there was a community behind her, and that's the part we miss. We lack. We don't have. The community of coaches that they produced in that movie, and that's what we need to be working toward. Is that who will come and support, who will come and put together a group of, and who will come and make this thing a thing. It's just something that we need to figure out.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for that contribution, Anita. And when we come back, let's talk about if it's not spelling, then what types of academic competitions and activities should we be investing in, and how to make those the norm and the level of achievement and excellence for our children. So you're watching Nick's Knowledge and Notions, and we will be back after this commercial.
Are we paused for a real commercial?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. You take commercials, Nick? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna drive across the street. How long is my commercial break?
You got about 2 minutes.
Oh, that's a long time, Nick. Nick, who knew? Nick, how long have you been doing this show?
Hold on. Wait till after commercial.
Oh.
Hey everybody, this is DJ the Money Coach coming back to you. It's an amazing summer. We are actually enjoying the pom-pom lifestyle that's plenty of money and peace of mind. And we want you to be a first-rate copy of yourself and not a second-rate copy of somebody else. And the only way to do that is in order to become financially independent, consumer debt-free, and have a credit score above 720. And when you do that, your next step is to acquire businesses, real estate, and leverage the tax laws. We're actually going to show you that this July 13th at 7 p.m. And we're bringing to you the #1 mobile home investor on the planet, in my opinion, Byron Sellers, the founder of Mobile Home Elite Investors. So if you want to plug into the passive income and control your destiny and not have anybody to work for the rest of your life, you need to plug into this webinar on July 13th at 7 p.m. sharp. Hit the registration link below and sign up now. It's only for a limited time and a limited amount of seats. So hit that link right below and come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. Hey, everybody.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth. It's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase. Now, let's start the show. All right, and welcome back to Nick's Knowledge and Notions NQ Science Series. We're talking about cultivating the genius of our children and the importance of making it the exception, making it the rule, and not the exception, So we were just talking about the spelling bee, but as we know, there are also other major academic endeavors, competitions, and things of that nature. There's mathematics, there's STEM, so and I like to lean on Anita for this, since she's the math, the math teacher. So I want to lean on Anita for her expertise or talking about the mathematics. So other academic competitions, such as STEAM. Sometimes you have, some schools have robotics clubs, robotics competitions. That ultimate, and these are higher demand fields. When it comes to higher education and careers and technology. But I don't hear as much about those. I mean, maybe it's me, but I don't hear as much about those fields and about those disciplines when it comes to competitions, and when it comes to preparing, really preparing our children for those careers. So So I just want to get your thoughts on, science, technology, mathematics, and things like that, and shining more of a light on that, rather than spelling, as DJ was kind of alluding to before the break.
So the STEM situation, as well as STEAM, they've added arts to it. It went from STEM to STEAM. So let's talk about that. You mentioned robotics specifically. There are national and international robotics competitions. They go to competition and build items to which compete with. They present these items, they sell them. It's much like a FFA show, which in Texas that's huge because Future Farmers of America, FFA, they raise cattle, steer, pigs, everything, and then they sell it at a show, and that's a scholarship. That's scholarship money. So the whole goal is that with the STEM program, it's designed to be able to get you, share with you, like you said, science, technology, engineering, and math. Um, Share those areas with you because those have previously been areas where African Americans are underrepresented. So there's a huge representation. There's a huge push for representation in those areas. So then, of course, colleges went to it and high schools went to it. There's an organization called NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers. Um, there's a math organization. There's all kinds of organizations and things that help that process. Our real goal is to make sure that we help students understand what it is that they need to be doing, but we have to start earlier. DJ made a point in reference to the younger, 5 years old, 6 years old. If you don't have, just an example for engineering, in order to get into top engineering schools, you have to have a 620 SAT score. You have to have 5 years of math in order to get into the top engineering programs. Students that are from lower income environments or not necessarily focused on academic environments, if they ever decide they want to be an engineer and they make the decision in 10th, 11th, 12th grade, they're going to be behind because they should have taken Algebra 1 in 8th grade. And there's no way to double up when you make that decision in 11th and 12th grade because college applications are due, if you're going to do an early admission, November 15th. So whatever's on your transcript up until November 1st is what's going to count. So that means if you don't have those math classes, 4 math classes already with that 1 in progress, you're not going to be qualified. So just on credentials alone, not because we couldn't have taken them, but just with lack of knowledge about what the credentials are, some of those kids are eliminated. A lot of the things that they're not included in are things that they just lack knowledge about how to be included in, how to be qualified for. And so state criteria for being exemplary schools or making blue ribbon status or, being stately recognized has something to do with how many students take 8th grade Algebra 1. Well, if your middle school principal doesn't know that or espouse it or understand it or like it or can figure it out, then you just let 75 kids miss. They just miss the mark. And 4 years later, when they say, I think I want to be an engineer and I want to go to UT, and they get declined, there's no way to back that up and get back over here and figure that out. Because who tells their senior, their junior, well, I need you to get a 5th year of math right quick, and we just run in the nearest junior college and try to hustle that grade real fast. I mean, some of us would do it. Where's my eye can see me? But most of us would not know to do it and then would not do it. They would put some type of mental limitations on their progress to be able in order to do that. So I said all to say this. The same level of parent DJ mentioned earlier about it costs this much to get your kid in this sport. You would think, even though you have that level of money, it's not about the money that parents would do this for. It's what do I need to do in order to get my kid where they want to be. And so I say this. If I found out one of my kids wanted to be an engineer and I needed 5 years of math, I'm running to try to get that worked out. The same way I would run to get her a basketball scholarship, get him a football scholarship, those same resources spend to get him an engineering scholarship and all of that. And so that was to DJ's point that you spending your resources on things that are you really focused on what the end game is, what is the end product. You spend all this money trying to get, you spend it on hoping to get a scholarship. And in some cases, you should have just saved for the scholarship. just saved your money for the scholarship. You could have gave your own scholarship, self-fund, because some of the kids are not into it that way. So you gotta, as a parent, be productive and as an educator, be responsible, giving out responsible information and such, because that's also one of the things that is not happening when I share that information. And when I share that at that particular middle school where that actually did happen, then people are like, oh, we didn't know. I said, that's my point. I'm educating you so we can help educate some more kids, because we're stifling a group of people who want to potentially be something better than, and they can stop the cycle of poverty. They can stop the cycle of all kinds of things, but we're not able to help them because we won't give them the information they need. We won't put them in the position, and their parents don't know. You can't hold a group of kids back because their parents just didn't know. The kids that we teach, some of the kids I teach they'll be first time high school graduates. Some of them are the first time they're going to grades their parents never even saw. So when you say I want your kid to be an engineer, you can't lead with that. You got to start with, can they do this and can they do that? I've had to ask parents, do they have permission to just be out and out smart? Can I use all that she has? Does she have permission to do the thing I think she's capable of? I've had to get permission from parents because I don't want to violate their cultural norms. So you just got to ask yourself, where are we headed? What do we want to be able to do? I just personally feel we do let a lot of things, we let time and money dictate a lot of things that are important, and we let them dictate in the wrong direction. We let them say no when they really should say yes.
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned what you mentioned about the math classes, because it was not until this year. Well, I knew about it last year too, but this year I found that a lot of students and families in the district didn't even know that you can take summer classes, so you can go to summer school to get ahead, because most of the time they think of summer school as something you just do if you fail a class and you have to retake it and make it up. But there's actually some of my students, they actually want to get ahead. They want to get into advanced placement classes. They want to get into IB classes. They want to get into dual enrollment classes. So they're knocking out some of these basic requirements during over the summer. And again, I'm in a school district where they don't take Algebra 1 until ninth grade. So they're taking geometry or Algebra 2 over the summer, so they're able to squeeze in calculus while they're in high school, and they don't have to wait until after high school to take it. But I know the reality is not every school district offers that, the ability to go ahead and take classes in the summer, or to even just move ahead in general and take a junior class as a sophomore, or a class that's supposed to be for a junior as a sophomore or a freshman. So it's like even the school district sometimes holds the students back by saying, no, we don't allow you to do that here.
Well, I will tell you that there's a school here in Houston that's Lamar High School, and if you're in the IB program, you do take geometry in the summertime, and the cost is $900, non-negotiable. We're not asking if it's okay. This is not a issue. There are no scholarships. It's $900, and one of the young ladies on the basketball team failed the class. I said, excuse me, how do you fail a course? You had to pay $900 to take at a public high school, and geometry is not easy to take in a summer school program. So, Nick, I agree.
Yeah, it's abbreviated too. Yeah. I'm sure it's abbreviated class too. You know, it's not
Oh, no,
the
they were in
full.
class 4 days a week for 8 hours a day.
Yep. Yeah. That's a first. I guess that's a first taste of college, because you paying about that much for a community college class. Not even at a 4-year school. You're not paying $900 for a class. So I mean, I've seen people pay thousands of dollars, at the university level to fail classes. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, $900, and the school's not even picking up the tab. you got to pay for that yourself. Yeah.
that tells you a lot about our society. So this will be probably the first and last time I ever talk about communism and the benefits of communism. So if you look at the communist Red China, they have given a edict to all the country that they're going to dominate artificial intelligence. And they started this edict back in 2010. And now in just 11 years, they're going to surpass America as the leaders in technology. So they're taking all their people and they're forcing them to be engineers and masters of artificial intelligence. So if we apply that same nationalistic principle and mindset, which the irony is, if you used to do that, you would hear people, like I said, my grandfather never graduated from high school. He had an 8th grade education. However, in elementary school, you had certain requirements. There was the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. And you had to have a certain level of math in order to get out of the 8th grade. That if you had an 8th grade education in the 19th century, you actually would be good for the rest of your adult life, which is completely opposite now because you have these optional liberal programs. So I am one that is adamantly against the STEAM program, adding in the arts and all that. There's no guarantee that you're going to make it in the arts. And that's only a luxury for wealthy people. So when you start getting these kids, my children attend STEM programs. Matter of fact, my daughter just finished a STEM camp for Swift coding on Apple platform. And my son is in the top coding program in the country. In my opinion, the all-star coding program under Reginald F. Lewis's daughter, Christina Lewis. And he's doing that. It's a 6-week course that had about 8,500 people apply for it, and only 138 people got into. And my son's in it at 14 years of age, and you're supposed to be 16 to get into the program. That ain't saying anything special about my son, but here's the reality. I got my kids plugged into a STEM program right out the jump, because today you got to have technology because the world is led by technology. You got to know science, technology, engineering, and math, period. End of story. All the rest of that stuff, you can catch that down the road, because if you don't have that core, you ain't going to have any skill sets in the 21st century that's going to provide you with any type of lifestyle. And all the other jobs, McDonald's, Walmart, Burger King, Pizza Hut, Domino's, those are being replaced by automation. So when we allow the politicians to, dummy down and take the dollars out of the school system and try to force other things on us, shame on you, because you allowed your vote to get, obfuscated and confiscated by somebody who has no care for you or your people. But what you'll find in these white communities, because we live in white communities, is that these are the norm. Robotic competitions, chess competitions, man, they're doing this stuff in 4th, 5th grade. People on the robot club, the chess club. I mean, and it's no big deal in our community. And we de-emphasize the sports piece and re-emphasize the technology piece. And that's why these kids are getting ahead, and the cost per student is not that much different. Sometimes they say it's drastically different, 1,200, 2,000, 4,000 per kid in an affluent community as opposed to 800, 1,100 in a poor community. But at the same time, if they had computers and they had these clubs starting out, the playing field will be level. And then the funny thing that always annoys me, even in these affluent communities, you roll out your community and on the corner, you got people sitting up here fundraising for junior football, Pop Warner, and fundraising for basketball, AAU. And I'm just like, really? And the sad thing is, you'll see white people out there just as much, but you'll see black people just as well. And I'm just like, okay, so your kid is all taking care of all the academics already, but you out here fundraising for these sports that they got a 1 in a 3.5 million chance to play college sports. But you tell them about, hey, get your kid in a STEM program, a summer camp, and this, that, man, they be laughing at you, but they'll be the same ones complaining and asking for a handout for the government. And that's a sad part about it. I.e., on another note, the young lady, she just got, offered scholarship to LSU University and Southern, and they're only doing that for, to have exposure, because they give her a scholarship, they're going to make 10x that from the grants and the fundraisers that they get supporting their kid, because they check in a box of a minority that actually goes to the school. So again, follow the money, follow the math at the end of the day. And I don't give excuses to parents who don't know, because those same parents put video games in their kids' hands. Those same parents put a football in their kids' hands. Those same parents put a basketball in their kids' hands. And guess how they find out about that? They find out about it by this little smartphone, internet, Google and YouTube, but they don't look into the stuff that creates this stuff, but they look into entertainment value. So I have zero empathy for those parents who first generation, high school graduates, whatever, because they kid got a damn phone and they kid playing some video game, then I have no empathy for them whatsoever. None. Zero. Period. End of story. Because Xbox, PlayStation, those things are $600-700. The video games are $60 to $80 a piece, and subscription-based service. So I remember I used to do this program, Title I school, and it was primarily single parents, boys. We did a program when I first moved here, and it was stimulated where we were trying to get these kids out of their element and teach them, character, teach them about dignity, respect, and then teach them about getting the basic education, and then reward them. So this program, we paid for everything. We paid for everything, and we took them to a camp, and all they had to do was pay a little initiation fee of $39. $39, do the course. At the end of the year, they built up this point system. One, they go home and be respectful to their single parent mom and their grandmother. You get a point for that. They be good in school, and they got B's in school, so they accumulated these points throughout the whole year. And if they got X amount of points, they were rewarded for this camp for a whole week that we paid for. And again, all they had to do is spend $39, right? So, do you know that practically about 70% of these parents were like, I don't have $39? Mm-hmm. Yep. But then on the opposite side, these same clowns, they kids had 5, 6, 7 pairs of Jordans. Yep. And then we asked them what they gonna grow up to do. Oh, I'm gonna be a basketball player. I'm gonna be a football player, and can't even write or read at a 4th, 5th grade level. And these were kids that were in 7th and 8th grade, but they couldn't come up with $39. But they had 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 pairs of Jordans. And the funny thing about this is when I only had one child at the time. I had one son, and my son was like 4 or 5, and my son was out reading all these kids that were 4 or 5 years older than him. But them same kids' parents sitting up here had everything they had, video games, everything, Oh, I don't have $39, but you want me to pay for your son to come out here to this camp that costs us several thousands of dollars, but you can't invest $39, but you found $1,500, $2,000 buy some damn gym shoes. And then you tell your sons that, oh yeah, you're gonna be the next Emmitt Smith. You're gonna be the next Michael Jordan. How about you be the next engineer? So I don't have no empathy for them. Zero. We're in an information age. If they ask us watching TV, playing video games, on the internet, on Discord, on Twitch, get your ass in the classroom and get some fucking science, math, and engineering about yourself. And then get yourself a skill. See, because here's the deal. The robotics is a skill. I don't even have to go to college. If I participate in these robotic clubs and I create something, one of these schools and one of these jobs gonna offer you a gig because you got a skill. I'm out here adding the M and this kills me. And this is geared strictly towards HCC. They put the M on the STEM program 3 years ago. And do you know when they start doing that, they start putting more emphasis on the fucking show. At the end of the 4-week camp, they all shaking their ass and doing all this and all the parents in there. I'm like, what the fuck? What you teaching your kid? Oh, we gotta put the arts in there. No, you don't.
Well, that wasn't art.
And I was like, no, we're not participating in this. Because my children are going up there winning the awards for coding and everything. I was like, hey, if you don't go out there and knock that the park, we don't even participate in that. No, don't even ask me. Forget about it. That became the whole event. They went and just watered down event. And guess what? Now that whole program in A-Leaf is no longer now. Because the doctor who put it together, she got tired of it. The last couple of years, jam-packed. They doing step show. But before they put the M on it, very few of the black kids walked across that stage and got the awards for engineering, coding, robotics. It was the African kids, the Asian kids getting the awards. But then when they added the M on, the ones who was winning, the step show and everything, who was it? The Negroes who look like you and I. And if you don't like what I'm saying and you watching this, go take a long walk off a short pier. Because if you putting your kids on that program and you think they the superstar and they gonna make it, you're gonna get a rude awakening.
Well, it's two things I want to add to what you just said, DJ. I think that one of the things that happens is that we talk about it. I know Nick and I talk about this all the time, separately and collectively, is about how parents are some parents are the major reasons why we have the lack of success rate we have in school.
Yeah, you know, they're the problem.
They somewhere along the way, parents in our age group said, when I get kids, I'm not going to make them do this and fill in that blank. And they kept their word. They've been true to the game because they don't make them do homework. They don't search their backpack. They don't check their phones. They don't require them to be respectful. They come at the teacher with, why is my kid failing? And I said, where's your kid? And let's have a conversation about it, because here's what I need you to understand. I don't have any parent conferences without the kid, because that's not my homework and it's not your homework. And the second thing I do is, and give me your backpack. I have said in many conferences, and I take the backpack and I pull all the stuff out and I sort it out. Geometry or math versus everything else. And when I get that stack of papers, I said, now ma'am, this is the stuff they've never done, or they, whatever it is, here's all the math stuff. I check out if this is why your child hasn't done it, is these are the zeros in his backpack. It's all right here. Everything you said he didn't get, everything he said he didn't get, it's all right here in this pile. I can show it to you. I can make a fan out of it, whatever. I told one lady, I said, ma'am, you all go to the same house every night? Yes, ma'am. This is your backpack. I said, I'm going to give you permission to start parenting. Go in this backpack every night. Look in it. Find out what's not done. And you and him both sit down together and do the work. Because right here, right now, he needs some parenting and guidance. And please do not call me back until you've done that. Sign the papers and all that. I said, because I don't have It's not my job to tell you that your son has not done his work with this backpack, and you and him all go home to one address. But they don't want to be responsible. They don't want to be responsible for their child, and their child, they want to believe their children are not lying to them. I said, well, that's super unfortunate. But I promise you this. They are the major reason we don't have what we have, and then they're upset because we don't have it. And of course, I've had parents ask me, well, what are you going to do to help my kid? Well, what are you doing? How much time do you spend? I've had kids tell me, well, I can do my homework last night because we had to go somewhere. I said, well, next time you tell your mother you have to stay at home because you have homework. If she has any questions about that, please have her to call my phone. You can't go anywhere. You can't. I recall when I had homework at night, my mother said to me, "Oh, we can't go anywhere because she got homework. We can't ever leave home because she has a whole backpack full of homework. When we had real books, no internet, a backpack full of homework." So the parents want something for nothing. They want geniuses with no work, and I mean, they want it to miraculously happen. And you're the teacher. You're supposed to be responsible if you're making it happen. And I'm like, you have to give me something to work with, which to work. And the principals and all those people every year they go, the parents send us to school the best they had. I said, that's not a compliment. They sent us the best they had. I said, that's not a compliment. I wish you would quit saying that. Here's why. They sent all that they had. They sent their only kid. The problem I have is they're not doing the best they could do. They've been to school. This is an excuse. What you're telling me now is an excuse. One lady came to see me one year and she said to me, well, my child is failing. It's 3 days before the end of the year. I said, yes, ma'am, your child is failing. And that's unfortunate. And she says, well, he can't go to summer school because we're going on vacation. I said, well, that is unfortunate. You just really keep those white shirts because he'll be wearing those again next year. The principal, the AP at this point is looking like this. Like, oh, my gosh, I'm fixing to be embarrassed. I said, well, ma'am, why would we promote your son who cannot do the skills in this class? I said, well, I'll tell you what, ma'am. Let me back up. Let me ask you some more questions. I said, did you go to school in Texas? She said, yes. I said, did you go to school in Houston? She said, yes. I said, so we haven't changed anything since you've been going to school, since you went to school here, right? We give report cards every 3 weeks. We give report cards every 6 weeks and progress reports every 2 weeks. So nothing about this process has changed. So when you didn't get the first one after the first 3 weeks and you didn't get the first report card after the first 6 weeks, what stopped you from pulling up to the front door like you did today and ask for the information? I didn't hear it. It's like, you all don't have an answer. She didn't either. I said, ma'am, you have a phone? Let me see it. It's an up-to-date phone. I said, you can get text messages on your phone that lets you know when your son's grade falls below a certain threshold according to, you want me to teach you how to do it? Okay. I said, well, last but not least, ma'am, he has a backpack. Do you go through that backpack? Okay, well, I'll tell you what. This is what I'm going to do. One moment, please. I went to my desk and came back. I brought out this red folder. She thought that because she hadn't been notified that he was going to pass because she hadn't been notified. There's some type of rule somewhere. Nobody can show it to me in writing. But if you don't tell the parents that their child is failing, then that you can't fail the kid. Somebody says it somewhere. I don't know where it is. And I don't have time to go find it. But I went and got the red folder. The red folder that particular red folder had in it every progress report signature page and every report card signature page. Because I made you sign that you received the document. By this time, my AP wants to get under the table. She wants to cry and get under the table because she's thinking, I had no idea this woman was keeping these kind of records, and now I'm super embarrassed. And this woman is, everybody at the table is ashamed. I said, so sweetheart, his typed name is right here. I said, sir, you did sign this paper here. He said, yes, ma'am. I said, so why would you lie to your mother and not bring home the report card? I said, did you ever think this day was going to come?
Because his parents taught him how to manipulate the system. That's what.
Well, see, the memo he failed to read was the one where he was with me. Right. And that's not what we doing in my class. Right. If you don't do your work, you will get an F. Right. And nobody can make me change that.
Unapologetically, no passes, no do-overs.
None.
Get it done.
I offered you an opportunity to be great. I gave you every platform in which to be excellent. You opted out of it every time. I
Right.
tell you what, y'all have a great vacation. I close the meeting just like this. Say, y'all have a great vacation. Have an awesome summer. Ma'am, while you on vacation, buy some more of these white shirts. You'll be wearing it next year. I'm going to holler at y'all. You
Oh, yeah.
waste my time. And looked at my my AP, and I said, and you need to check this at your office. Don't get down this hall with this next time. You can get this taken care of at your desk, okay? Thank you. Now that you know how this runs, 3 days before school is out, you asking me why he not passing, he's going to get that F. That's the F he got. I mean, he's been failing this whole time.
He earned it.
So, you know, at some point, somebody has to be realistic with parents and say, ma'am, please do your job as a parent.
Well,
If I ever, I guess it's called a socialist. I guess I'd be called a socialist if there's such a thing, where, you know, we give a tax credit and earned income credit and all these credits for having kids. But I'm gonna tell you, I think we should, instead of attaching the W-2, attach that report card. If your report card has an F on it, I'm gonna need to ask for my money back. The government gives you some money to support your situation. Put it in their education. Give me my money back. I can get that to somebody, mama, who really trying, because you're not doing right. Stop it. I don't know. It's not right. Y'all are laughing at me, and that's okay. But I just cannot wrap my brain around the fact that I teach summer school for people who failed math, science, English, or social studies, and you're dropping your kids off in Mercedes Benzes, Infinities.
Because they're gonna buy their way out the problem.
But you didn't use it for tutoring?
Because they didn't care. Because again, they can buy their way out of the problem. There's nothing that they can't put no money to. They can't get what they want until they can't get it. And then
well, you should have been in tutoring.
Try to make you the They try to make you the scapegoat. That's why teaching is a thankless job. And
here's what I told them on Thursday. I said, let me tell y'all something. You all are keeping us in vacation. Every teacher in here can afford their summer travel because you all decided to keep us with a summer job because you decided to fail a class. I said you keep it. It's called job security. As long as y'all fail, we have a summer job. I said put us out of a job. Pass your classes. I said every time you all fail a class, I promise you, if that means she failed, I'm gonna have a summer job. I said,
right. But again, that's the sad narrative, is that we're not making it a requirement or a dictatorship to make sure they have these skill sets. That's all high school was created for, is actually to give you skills to actually, live an adult life. It wasn't a social experiment. So until people get back on that narrative, which they won't, I mean, one of the things that cracks me up is that these people give their kids all these luxuries. A phone. I don't know what you need a phone for. I don't give my kids a phone till they earn it at 14 years of age. It's just that, and again, I tell people, hey, you know what? You can hate me now, you're gonna love me later. Another thing is, you're gonna master these hard things early in life, and as you get older, life's gonna get real easy for you. You master this easy stuff, and life's gonna be hard as hell. And don't come back to my door asking for no help, because I gave you, the game plan. I hold you accountable, and nobody's as perfect, but you gotta put your foot to the pedal. Even my youngest daughter, who's 8 years old, she was slacking off at the end, put her ass in summer school. She's going to summer school, tightening up. Like, yep, we don't play around. You're gonna read 20 books this summer. And again, you're gonna be able to compete at the highest level, and it ain't gonna be nothing special, because these are just fundamentals. That's all it is. So you have to, again, to bring this full circle with the young lady who won the spelling contest. All it is having you put your foot down in your own house and saying, hey, this is what we're gonna do to change the narrative. But if we already affluent, if you think your kid's just gonna by osmosis inherit what you have, you are a fool, because they're gonna be resentful and they're gonna be killing you over the stuff that you gave them because they didn't earn it. And then when you get tired and cut them off, then they're gonna come after you. And that's what you're seeing in America today. And that's across all, ethnic groups, all economic groups. We in America have a sense of entitlement. I mean, when you have people in the hood got phones, cars, and taking vacations, but they can't speak or write at a ninth grade level. And you go over to a legitimate third world country who really can't eat. They think we in the hood are living like kings and queens. I mean, that's a sad, you know, reality that we are doing now, and we're getting our butts kicked by every country in technology now. Now, on an individual basis, we're probably not, but collectively across the landscape, we are. But hey, they sure know how to sing, step, dance, you know, carry a football, shoot a basketball. And here's the funny part about that: they're replacing them in those sports too. Because if you look at the landscape, I'm a baseball player. I don't even care to even watch baseball anymore. The All-Star game, you may think I'm going off on tangent, but it's relative because baseball is about science. Baseball is science and technology and math, geometry, angles, physics. The baseball game, All-Star game, had the lowest ratings in its history except for 1 year, 2019. But the reality is, I didn't see any black players. I saw maybe one. Now it's highly, you know, Latin, it's highly Asian, and it's highly white. But the reality is, they're gonna replace you. They're doing the same thing in basketball. Basketball, they're putting all the European players, so they're not gonna need you anymore. But if you hit them books, they can't replace you because somebody gonna need to do the coding for these phones, these robots, this artificial intelligence, and you can be a success 1 out of 1. That's why I tell these people who be talking about we don't have no options, we don't have no money. Okay, again, show me the shit that you got for yourself on the welfare ticket, and I'll show you what you can get some education and put some discipline, some work, and some accountability to, and you can change your whole economic paradigm in 1 generation at the end of the day. So the reality is these things cost money, but you have the money. You just misappropriate it. And you're not being accountable because you want to have entertainment. It's like in the course I teach, I say people spend money on what they want, not what they need, what they want. And they think they're entitled to entertainment and relaxation all the time without putting the work in. And then they think that they're going to, you know, inherit their parents' stuff. And all that stops in each household for that accountability. Again, being a teacher is a thankless job, and I ain't about raising nobody's kids. After I had that experience, put my time, my money towards somebody else's kids, and they weren't even appreciative, I was like, dude, I'm done with that. And you ain't nothing you can say to me to shame me because I'm just going to point the finger back at you. What you doing? You know, what schools you building? What programs you supporting? Oh, you got the AAU program, you got the select program, you got the soccer program. I'm fired up for you. Show me how that worked, you know, 15 years later when your kid get injured or your kid just ain't good enough to make it.
Well, I would definitely tell you that that is all true. There's nowhere that the kids are invested at the level that they should. And when you tell them what they should do, oh man, that's for nerds. And that's what I said, okay, well those nerds are gonna go on and take care of things and handle their business and be successful. And you'll be looking at them going, well, I wish I had done. It'll be a little late to wish you had done then what you should be doing right now.
The irony of it is that they see on the landscape in America that now nerds are dominating everything. So I want to flip the script and be a nerd. And
they're not that inclined. They're not that influenced. Let me tell you, as Texas, the state of Texas, number 48 in education in America. Massachusetts number 1.
Yeah.
And we still haven't yet decided to take a better stand and approach to this whole process. America is number 25 in the world, and we still haven't made a decision on how to make a decision.
Losing across the board.
And you're not even behind other just comparable countries. You're actually behind some third and second world countries. Exactly. You're doing it so wrong that other third world countries with less than you across the board are doing it better than you education wise. And so at some point we've got to ask ourselves, who does take a stand? When do you take that stand, and how do you manage that? So I am proud of the young lady from Louisiana who has won the spelling bee. I hope that I thought the movie would do more for it, but since the movie didn't do as much, then she's done something for it. And not just a spelling bee, but just anything. You know, Kamala Harris has done some things. I hope I've done some things to influence. I just gave this lecture the other day about being a woman and being educated and doing things. And And they look at me and go, well, you young. I said, well, hey, you know what? I tell you what. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. And either you will do something different or you won't. Whenever you figure it out, let me know. But if I'm around, great. If I'm not, I understand. But I promise you this. You will wish for the things that's happening right now. Because what you want to be able to do is be the parent who can help your own child do the work. Because right now, you're in summer school, which means you didn't do well in the regular year. I said, so, I really want to understand. This young lady, I took her phone in summer school. She pulled out another phone. I said, see, right there. Let me help you understand. You will get an F if you don't pass this class. I said, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you will get an F. She just looked at me. I said, no, seriously, I just want to let you know. The F you want, you'll get it.
Right.
It's okay.
Right. They're gonna Instagram their way to success.
I understand. You got to do some strange things. You got to do some strange things for that kind of change. You're going to be successful that way. You got to do some strange things. And normally after you do those things, they don't let you be a teacher. It's called moral turpitude.
Yeah. That's oh man, that's another topic in itself. The things that people are doing on Instagram and TikTok to become famous. that's another thing. But it's highly it's highly influential and impressionable upon the youth, because it's becoming even more popular than it is becoming less popular. Like there's no shame in it, so you all kind of touched on the last segment, or the last part of this topic that we want to discuss, which is how do we make excellence the norm. And Anita touched on both Anita and DJ touched on the parenting piece, and the necessity for parents to be parents, and just to take that a step further. We have to understand that's the first line of defense, because we know the youth are going to get hit with influences from all over. They're going to get hit with influences from their peers. They're going to get hit with influences from social media. They're going to get hit from influences from regular media, even politics, because we're talking about the educational system compared to other nations. And to me, it's just quite clear that it's deliberately set up this way, that our society or our nation values, athletics more than academics. Just look at how much athletes get paid and entertainers get paid. So you can see that the nation society values that more than academics. So it goes back to the line of the first line of defense in order to make academics the standard, the norm. You gotta set your own bar. You can't depend on anyone else to set that bar for you. So
well, here's the thing, Nick. The piece that has to be fixed is parents. DJ and I can definitely say that we lead by example. He does his business and he coaches his children. I do my business and I coach my children, and they know that excellence is the standard. This is what we do. And if you're not gonna do this, then don't call me for that. And that's now. That's not in the future. That's now. A man does not eat if he does not work. If you're not working, you don't eat. You're too old for that. I fed you when you were children, little babies. Now it's time for you to work if you want to eat. And my purse is not continuously open. You got to figure out how to earn what's in this purse. So you go get a job. You don't want to work for me. You work for somebody else. But you will learn the value of work ethic. I teach that. I taught that day one. Work ethic is something that seems to be fashionable, or it seems to be antiquated, or whatever it is. But I tell you what, work ethic is going to get you put out of some places, and lack thereof, I should say, is going to get you put out of some places and never invited into other places. The problem that we have is that we think, oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay if he's 40 on your couch. It's going to be okay if he's 40, you're still supporting him, and there's nothing else wrong with him. No, that's a problem. And as a parent, another parent has to tell you that. Unfortunately, I'm not popular when I do it. I'm like, well, ma'am, I tell you what, if he doesn't want to do his homework, put it to you like this: at 40, he'll still be on your couch, but he gonna get a 0 in this class. All right. Well, and then they want to call the principal and, well, why she can't give him a grade because he didn't do any work. And that's illegal. I put the Texas book of law right there on the desk in the conversation, and the principal then started saying, I can't tell her, can't tell her to do that. And so I explained it to them. I can't tell her to do that. But then they have to ask him, when is he going to do his work? When is he going to do his job? He is wasting our time because he just simply refuses to do his work. Ma'am, take him home and homeschool him at your house.
Right.
Do those types of things. When are you going to
somebody else
for the parenting? Which is why I told you, can I just have the tax dollars back? We wouldn't be in debt to the trillions of dollars we're in debt if we could just take that money back from them. Pay the tax on those kids. That's fine. You don't want to educate them. You don't want to do what you need to do. You don't want to hold. You don't want to be responsible for them. Then give us those deductions back. Let's see if we can infuse that back into our economy and just figure out if we can get our debt paid down. Let's see if you can help us with that. Then you gonna do something.
Good luck with that.
Good
luck with that. What I would say is that hopefully they will promote this young girl across the country, which they're doing a good job right now, and they just need to keep promoting it. And those who catch it. Those who don't. Hey, good riddance. Because here's the reality: this ain't changing. It's continuing to go faster, race to the bottom, and the 1% that gets it, those will be the ones that be dictating the future. That's the harsh reality of it. There's no panacea to this. The reality is just like we talked about last night. You got to make the impact in your own house, and then you'll impact generations that's supposed to be in your bloodline. At the end of the day, America is fast becoming, a second, tier, country, because China is going to dominate, in the next 3-4 years. They're going to be the top economy, and they're going to be running most of the stuff. And the census has shown that I think by 2035 or 2045, Nigeria is going to be the most populated country in the whole world. So how the Africans have the mindset is, hey, we're going to be here and be professionals, pure and simple. So my thing is, if you're watching this, listening to this, make an impact in your own house. And if you don't, shame on you. You get what you deserve to get, reality, so stop giving them phones and giving them all this because you don't have to. But the reality is you want other people to babysit your kids for you. So there should be a law that you shouldn't be able to have kids if you can't take care of them and actually make them functional in society to actually provide value. But, that's the freedom, but freedom ain't freedom. And most of those people who have these freedoms, they didn't fight for it. They didn't spill any blood for this freedom. And if they did, they would take it a little bit more seriously. And that goes to any and everybody who watch this who are here illegally as well. So if you don't like it, too bad. So, we could talk about this forever and a day. We probably could have a part 2 to this, but it is what it is. But shout out to the young lady. She did a phenomenal job. And hopefully other young ladies and their parents will follow the same blueprint. And young men will get on the platform and do it as well, because we're losing, masculinity in America rapidly, and especially in our community. And that's sad. That's another topic in of itself. But yeah, I applaud her for winning the Scripps. And actually, she's not the first to ever win that. Actually, a black person won back in 1925, but they don't promote that. And the irony of it is when it was still, practically almost illegal to learn how to read and write. Actually, I'm sorry, 1896. I take that back, 1896. So I did a little bit of research. So think about it. A person won this national, spelling bee, and you couldn't even legally read and write. So again, you got to look at the people who are pushing these programs and what they're pushing it for, the propaganda behind it. But kudos, my hat goes off to her. I don't never put down anybody in our culture that exceeds and excels at something. But like Nick said, it has to be the norm, cannot be the exception to the rule, because now you become the special Negro. And then I don't consider her to be black. She's just Zaila. And then now she's treated like a special person. And now she loses sight of what God gave her to give in her work ethic. Because here's what I teach my kids. I say, anytime somebody gives you a praise and applauds you and say, oh man, you're so smart. You're so gifted. I have my children stop them in the track and say, hey, thank you for acknowledging the work that me and my parents have put in to take the God-given talent to create a masterful skill. Because what you just saw on display was a skill, had nothing to do with my talent. Because immediately they'll say, "Oh, you were given that talent." Yeah, you're right. But the skill, I had to put that work in, baby. Had to put that work in. So that's what I want to applaud today. I want to applaud the skill that she developed and the work ethic that she applied to take the genius inside of her to become number one and win the national Scripps, spelling bee. The skill, the work, the accountability, and the discipline. Not her intelligence, not her talent. Because every kid on this planet has a God-given talent and God-given intelligence that they are designed to be amazing in whatever path they pursue. So let's applaud that, and then hope that other parents will use that blueprint to apply work, discipline, and put that skill developed from that talent and that intelligence. So I'm excited. Back to you, Nick. And hey, it's a blast. We live in it.
Yep. All right. Anita's out of the car, so Anita, you can go ahead. You can go ahead and close out and go get yourself some dinner because you look like you've been out all day. Yeah, you're muted.
You got your mute on.
You're muted, Anita.
I guess you can't hear us.
I said, thank you for inviting me. I really enjoy myself. So, of course, thank you for inviting me. I love always to be in you all's presence. I had to come get a box. I need some storage units. Got stuff I need to take care of in my building.
Always working.
Always working. Not always. I'm going to take a vacation here soon. I'm working on that.
There you go. True that. Cool stuff. Nick, close us out, brother.
Yep. And just just to fill in those gaps for Anita, you can find her on just about everything. She's Onedia Engaged. She got the website, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram. She's Onedia Engaged on all those platforms. For speaking, for editing services, for merchandise, apparel printing, all of that good stuff. Right. And but here, right here and right now, you've been watching Nick's Knowledge and Notions NQ Science series. That's what you've been in tune to. So go ahead and like, share, subscribe to the channel, and then tune into our weekly programs. We got the whole lineup for you all throughout the week. So as always, we wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind, and we want you to come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. And your beach doesn't have to be next to sand or water, but your beach is wherever you find your peace of mind, your personal freedom, and your excellence for yourself, for your children, and the generations that follow. So we will see you next time on Nick's Knowledge and Notions. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm DJ the Money Coach. Don't touch that dial. You want to become financially independent? You want to have consumer debt freedom? You want to have passive income, learn how to build a business, acquire real estate, and achieve the lifestyle you deserve in 2021? Well, hit that link below right now. We've worked with over 20,000 people in the past 2 decades, helping them become consumer debt free, increase their credit scores by 30 to 60 points in 30 days or less, and help them acquire businesses through real estate, taxes, and a network of experts just like me. So you'll get a complete 3-hour, 18-module course called Family Finance 101 that'll teach you A to Z how to become consumer debt free, credit worthy, and it puts you in position to become a certified entrepreneur. We'll also give you a complimentary consultation with me that's a $500 value. Why would you want to do that? Because I have already achieved that, and I can help you achieve your American dream in 2021. Hit the link below, get the free webinar and the complimentary consultation, and I'll see you soon and wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. Come join us.
Hi, so this is a testimonial for DJ the Money Coach. First of all, I got one of the best packages that you had, so that was A1. I love the team. They have really come through. You were amazing as a coach. Every week you showed up on time. Every single week. And trust me, I've been in a lot of courses, a lot of classes, spent a lot of money. And unfortunately, some people don't do what they say that they're going to do as a coach.
Hello, everybody. My name is Terry. I recently just linked up with DJ the Money Coach, and he's been very helpful. Gave me a lot of information, told me how I could turn my personal credit into business credit, also showed me how I could pay for a personal vehicle through my business and corporation setup, and also set me up with Melvin to help me actually put together a will, a power of attorney, a Roth IRA.
I definitely would highly recommend DJ the Money Coach. He's very personable. He's actually real. He actually does meet with his clients. You know, I'm happy for that. And he actually has a team that he works with that, you know, that are actually real. They do call people, so they will call you. So that's kind of why I want to rock with DJ the Money Coach.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth, it's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase.